Hi guys, so welcome back, and today we have the third episode for Scripture Sunday. And I'm going to talk about a little bit on how Elijah was fed by the ravens, right? And then chapter 18, I'm going to talk about the contest on Mount Carmel, which is also how Elijah prayed for rain. So there are three things I'm going to talk about. I'll just try and group them together because they kind of go hand in hand together. Yeah, as we know, Elijah was a prophet, man of God, right? And during his time, there was a king named King Ahab. And during this time as well, it was one of those times where after each and every king, most of the kings in the book of Kings, most of them, they did not obey God. And so it came Ahab's time, who became king then. It was really disrespectful. He totally just angered God to the worst point. Yeah, that's kind of how I'll put it. He also had a wife, Jezebel. I think we all know Jezebel. Both the wife and the husband disrespected God in that they worshipped idols. Not only did they do that for themselves, but they made everyone else sin against God by worshipping idols. But during that time, there was also this whole slaughtering of prophets. Elijah went into hiding, right? That's one of the first points that I wrote. Yeah, so he went into hiding. God told him to go and hide. Imagine, God still fights for us, still has the power to make us conquer a lot of things, but he told Elijah to go and hide. But before he went into hiding, he had already told Ahab, he called him out for disobeying God, and he did tell him that there was going to be no rain for quite some time until he comes and says that the rains are coming back and whatnot. So now the issue started from there no being rain in Israel. Yeah, that's where the whole main issue started. So there was a man called Obadiah, who was a faithful man of the Lord, but also served under King Ahab, right? So during the time where other prophets were being slaughtered, he saved 100 prophets and he split them into half and put them in 2 caves. So that's how some of the prophets survived. What now happened is that the king wanted grass for his horses, and yeah, it was drought. So obviously he went on to look for pasture, and he told Obadiah that they would split. King Ahab will go a different direction and Obadiah the other side. Obadiah went on the other end, right? And on his way, he met Elijah. And remember that Elijah had gone into hiding. So when Obadiah saw Elijah, he was so shocked. He didn't believe it was him. He even asked to confirm if it was really Elijah, and Elijah did confirm it was him. And he also requested that he wanted to see King Ahab. Obadiah was scared because that would also result in his own death, because the king had gone for so long looking for Elijah, right? Obadiah was a bit afraid that if Elijah did tell him that you should go get the king and he wanted to meet the king, the time comes to present Elijah won't show up. But Elijah did promise that he would show up and really see the king on the same exact day, which did happen. And then we see the king calling Elijah a troublemaker, but really Elijah wasn't. We all know that. And Elijah just said the same exact thing, like he wasn't the troublemaker. It was him, the king, and his family who disobeyed God. So now it came to a point where Elijah called out all of the people, including the king, and everyone was there, on how they were split into 2 in terms of their worship. They didn't know which God really to follow, whether it was our God or the Baal and the idols and whatnot. So he wanted the people to be really decided on which God they would serve, or rather which God they would go for. Yeah, something like that. Elijah knew how split these people were in terms of their faith, the people of Israel, and he wanted to set straight the record for them to choose either they would go for Baal or they would go for God. And he said it in verse 21. I'll just read part of it, it's not the whole verse. How much longer will you waver, hobbling between 2 opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him, but if Baal is God, then follow him. But the people were completely silent, so they didn't know which God to go for, because they were not there yet in terms of their faith, probably. Yeah, and also they've been around this whole worshipping of Baal for a long time, so they didn't know now which was right and which was wrong. Yeah, so now what happened is that Elijah told Ahab to bring 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets or whatever they were of Asherah poles. So that's a total of 850. So he told them that those 850 people worshipping the idols, they were to split between them and Elijah, and they would all offer a sacrifice to their gods. And whichever god that was going to set fire onto the sacrifice on the altar was the true god, and everyone agreed. So yeah, now we're getting to the bigger part. The prophets, they picked the bull and split it into pieces and put it on their altar, right? And from the word, it just tells us it was very terrible how they went from morning to noon and nothing happened. They called on the name of their gods and nothing happened. And even Elijah ridiculed them. He even went on to say that, I'll read from the word because I don't think I'll be able to put it best rather than from the verse itself. So Elijah said in verse 27, he began mocking the prophets now, telling them, you have to shout louder, he scoffed, for surely he's a god. Perhaps he's daydreaming, or he's relieving himself, or maybe he's away on a trip, or is asleep and needs to be awakened. So basically it was just saying that you've called so long upon your God and he hasn't said anything yet, and look at the time, that type of thing. And even evening came, the time onto which Elijah was also to make his sacrifice, and nothing had happened. So Elijah gathered the people and told him, now it's my time to make the sacrifice, let me go with the people. And he went with everyone. He laid on his sacrifice. He cut the bull into pieces as well, and he dug a trench. From the word as it says, he dug a trench and they poured 3,000 gallons of water. I don't know how much that is, but yeah, probably a lot. Definitely it's a lot. So upon that, they also put the wood, because on the altar they had to put wood so that there'll be fire to lit the sacrifice, right? He told the people to pour jars of water about 3 times. Not about, it was 3 times. Yeah, so they did that 3 times. Mind you, now the sacrifice is fully soaked in water, and fire has to light up and it has to burn the whole sacrifice. So yeah, that's what he did. And then he made a prayer, and his prayer was that the people would see that for truly it was God, through him having God answering his prayer and lighting up the sacrifice. And immediately as it finished, the sacrifice was lit by fire. And it even goes on to say that not only did the sacrifice catch fire, but even the wood and even the dust. So that was really something big. Immediately after that happened, the people fell down and asked God for forgiveness, and yeah, truly they saw which God was God. And yeah, it also says that later on, all those not fake prophets, oh my word, yeah, they were fake prophets, but all those fake prophets, those who worship Baal and everything, they were all killed by Elijah. So that was their price for that. Still in chapter 18, now we go to the part where Elijah prayed for the rains. Remember, Elijah went on the same Mount Carmel. He went on that same altar that he made the sacrifice and prayed to God. And also say that in the word, it says he had a servant and he told him to go the first time to check if there were any signs of rain. And the servant came back and said there were no signs of rain, right? Then he told him to go for 7 more times. 7 more times he did that, and he said that he saw a cloud the size of a man's hand rising. So that happened, and when he told Elijah then told the servant to go and tell King Ahab to return quickly because the rains were going to come. So something really cool happened. God gave Elijah special strength to an extent where he passed King Ahab's chariot and even had to wait for him by the entrance of the town. And probably the king took so much time, did a lot, but I really hope he did get something. I did learn that there is a time to hide, and we all saw it from the time where Elijah had to go hide. And also there's a time to reappear. There's a time where you're going to face front whatever that you're hiding from. You will not hide forever, definitely, but it's okay to also go into hiding. Definitely God will be molding you for something. He's preparing you for whatever you're going to face. The other thing that I wrote is to kill. Elijah killed these Baal prophets and everything, right? Everything that did not fall under the name of God, that did not obey God, rather. The killing here is not like literally the killing, but obviously like removing any obstacles, anything that's between you and God. you're the one who'll be honest enough to pick out those things from your life. And one thing, you really have to be honest with yourself, because definitely you're just not ready to let go of those things yet. But time will come when you really feel like you're now really going to be honest with yourself. Then clear those things, kill those things, and remove them. That's the only way you will not fall back. Because imagine if they've not killed the prophets, definitely they're going to regroup, go somewhere else, and also influence another group of people or another tribe. Yeah. Something that I also noted is prayer. Prayer is really important. We see it as Elijah was making the sacrifice. He prayed even before. He prayed for God to answer something for him so that people would see the power of God. So he prayed for that. He also prayed for the rains. Very good. Besides Elijah being one of the big prophets, I did see as well that when you're deeply rooted in God, you can literally say something and it will happen. We get this from the part where Elijah told King Ahab that there were not going to be any rains until he comes and says so. And we see that happening. God is the same for all of us. God is for everyone. Just by trusting and believing that he's going to do it, then he would definitely do it. Faith, the mustard seed, faith that will make mountains move. Other thing that I also saw is that God gives us special strength. It's not much to really give us a whole picture on special strength, but still God does that. What I got is that from that part, in terms of our day-to-day life, someone will still go ahead of you, but God will give you special strength for you to reach the first. I hope you really got it, because now that I said it, the impact is really important for me right now. Like, I'm kind of reminding myself of how God moves. So sometimes people are going to be so ahead and you're just there. Things are not moving, things are not going well, but having to know God in your life is really important, because God is going to give you that special strength that you need to get whatever you need to get done, or for you to reach wherever you want to reach. Anyways, we've come to the end of Scripture Sunday episode 3. I'm glad you stuck around and watched it to this part. I really hope you did get something, and regardless of whatever that is happening, just as a reminder that God really works and God really comes through for you. And it's the same God who did these things. He's the same God. If I mean it's the same God, I mean it. He's the same God who did these things, and he's the same God who you talk to every single day, whom you tell your things, and is going to move mountains for you. So yeah, don't forget that. So yeah, from the points, I don't know if I'm gonna probably put them somewhere, but like, yeah, kind of take a picture and put them up here. So yeah, bye.